Today we're going to talk about two invisible forces that make it difficult to make the right financial decisions.
Welcome to Wisdom and Wealth, where we talk about the human side of money. Join us as we dive beyond the numbers, unpacking the psychology of money to equip you with the tools you need to be wise in wealth.
I'm Brendan Frazier, Chief Behavioral Officer at RFG Advisory. And when it comes to making financial decisions, whether it's should I save, should I spend, should I invest, should I give, those decisions, when we look at them, are almost always made in the present. You're making your financial decisions in the present, no matter what it is. But what we don't think about, because most likely we don't know, are there two other forces at play. It's not just your present self making the decision. You have forces from your past and forces from the future that are also at play in forming that decision in the present. And you can't truly make optimal financial decisions in the present until you recognize and understand the forces that are coming from the past and the future. So let's start by talking about the psychology of your past self and its role in decision making. So let's start by meeting Leslie. When Leslie was 14 years old, her parents went through a nasty divorce. And after that divorce, both of them wanted to make it up to her. Her dad decided that he was going to try to make it up to her and earn back her love by showering her and lavishing her with nice gifts, amazing trips, staying in the best hotels. And what she learned from that subconsciously is that you earn people's love and acceptance through status and nice things. So we fast forward to today. Leslie's in her mid-40s. And she struggles with spending money that she knows that she should be saving because she can't help but buy the nice things, because to her, nice things is how she's accepted and how she's loved. She's making this decision in the present moment, but that decision's being shaped and influenced by her past experiences. That's what we have to know about the past. We have experiences and memories from our past, often called financial flashpoints, that shape our current attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors around money. So while Leslie looks at it and says, I don't understand why I can't make the right optimal decision to save more money in the present, it's not because she's doing anything wrong in the present. It's because she has this belief that's shaped from her past. Or we can look at Matt. At age 7, Matt was forced to move out of his house, move into a smaller house, and all he remembers from that was that it was crowded, it was inconvenient because he had to leave his friends, his close friends that were his neighbors, and he had to give up things that he loved because they didn't have the space for it. And he remembers listening in on a conversation with his mom and dad one night where he heard his dad say, essentially, that he made a mistake and invested in a business that went south. Fast forward to today, and now Matt has this belief that investing in businesses is risky and refuses to invest money, not only in businesses, but in the stock market, and only puts his money in cash. An experience from the past shaped his current beliefs around money, and that's now driving and informing his decision-making today. In fact, there's research out there that shows that the majority of our beliefs around money are formed by the age of 7. So if we know that the past and our experiences from the past, these financial flashpoints, inform our beliefs in the present, we can't go back and change the past, but what can you do about it? There's a few things you can do. Start by asking a few questions. Number 1, what was money like for you growing up? What was it like? What do you remember? What are your experiences? What was your earliest memory around money? And then start thinking, what was money like? What were those memories? And has that experience, have those memories and experiences be negatively impacting my financial decisions today? For Matt, it's keeping him from the ability to be invested in the market and accumulate more wealth over time. Now that's the past. The past shapes our current beliefs and behaviors that inform our decisions, but there's also the future. So let's talk about the future for a second. To do that, I want you to meet Brent. Brent was in his late 40s, in a high-earning, successful career, loved the work that he did, and said there's no way he's going to ever want to retire. He didn't know what he would do with all that time. He's just going to keep working. Fast forward, several years later, Brent's now in his early 60s and decides that he does want to scale back. He does want to retire, but he's not prepared to do it because he didn't make the decisions in his late 40s to get himself prepared to retire because he thought there's no way that this day would ever come. And we can take Brent's example to learn about the two psychological forces in the future that impact our decision making today. The first of which is we don't have a very close connection with our future self. There's a gap between our current self and our future self. Now, for those of you that are avid watchers and consumers of Wisdom and Wealth, you know that we've already talked about this in depth in episode 3. We'll link to that video in the description for this show. But to put it simply, there's a gap between our current and our future selves. We see our future self as nothing more than a stranger. The current self rules the day. The current self commands the shots. There's another force at play that's a lot less talked about, but equally important. It's the fact that we're terrible predictors of our future selves. In fact, there's been research done by Daniel Gilbert. They call it the end of history illusion. And what they did was they went and they asked people, hey, what were you like 10 years ago? 10 years ago, what was your life like? What's it like today? How much has it changed? And everybody goes back and they think through what all's happened in the last 10 years and they explain how much they've changed in so many ways. And then they go and they say, okay, what do you think things will be like 10 years from now? What will you be like 10 years from now? And what they found is that we tend to project ourselves and see ourselves in 10 years as being almost identical to how we are today. We vastly underestimate how much we change even in a 10-year period. Our beliefs, our taste, our preferences, our friendships, our families, things change more than we anticipate. When you're making financial decisions in the present, you're making them for an uncertain future. You don't even know who you're going to be, what life's going to look like, what your preferences are, who your friends are going to be. And anytime you're forced to make decisions about an uncertain future, that makes it difficult. And so how do we think through making decisions today for a future self that we see as a stranger and a future self that we have no idea what they're even going to be like, what they're going to want, what it's going to look like? Two things to know: flexibility and foundations. What do I mean by flexibility? Flexibility means don't assume that you know exactly who you're going to be in the future. Give yourself margin for error. Give yourself flexibility in your financial plan to adjust course in the future. If we think about Brent said he never wanted to retire. And maybe that's true. Maybe he never would have wanted to retire, but Brent needed the flexibility built into his plan so that when he got to that point, he could reevaluate and decide. And if he didn't want to retire, he didn't have to, but if he wanted to, he had the ability to do it, or it could have been at least within reach. He needed flexibility. He needed more margin for error in the plan. Second thing is foundations. Foundations mean what are the things that are foundationally and fundamentally important to you. So you may think today that in the future you want to buy a beach house. Nothing wrong with wanting to buy a beach house. But generally speaking, buying a beach house isn't a fundamental, foundational value that people have. But if you think, okay, why is it that I want to buy a beach house? Well, I want to buy a beach house because I want to be able to create memories and experiences with my family. So instead of trying to plan around the specific item of buying a beach house, instead think through, hey, what are the ways that I can create memories and experiences with my family? The future may be uncertain. You may or may not want to buy a beach house, but the odds of you not wanting to make memories with your family, create experiences with your family 10 and 20 years in the future is much, much less. So let's summarize it like this. Your past and your experiences in the past shape your current beliefs and behaviors in the present, and then the decisions in the present impact who you're going to be in the future. Another way to think about it, your financial decisions are always made in the present. Should I save this money? Should I invest this money? Should I give it to a cause or a charity that I'm passionate about? Should I spend it so that I can go take a trip with my friends or my family? They're always made in the present. But you'll never be able to fully optimize your financial decision making until you can embrace and understand and become aware of the fact that decisions made in the present are influenced by our past and by our future. Again, I'm Brendan Frazier, Chief Behavioral Officer at RFG Advisory. If you want more videos, more insights like this, hit the subscribe button below. Until next time, stay wise and well.